Hello and welcome back to another episode of Factory Fresh. I'm Lee Bailey.
I'm Harjaan Sivia.
And today we got some pretty interesting stuff. Like no electrification here, boys and girls. We've been doing a lot of electrification, and that's the future. So our audience they already know
expect
that the EVs are going to take over eventually. But today we're going to be talking about two stories that involve gas-powered cars. And one of these cars is a pure monster. But we're going to get to that in our second story.
Supercar killer.
We're going to lead off. Harjaan, I am here to make you happy as a Toyota guy. And this morning, I was going to post a different story, which we will not discuss. Maybe next week if I feel it's worthy or is interesting.
Okay.
But today, and there's the inspiration on the screen. If you're a Toyota stan, you understand that what we're looking at is the Toyota Corolla FX16 GTS, which was with us for 2 short model years in 1988. A special hatchback edition built at the former Toyota Numi plant in Fremont, California, which is now, as people will probably know, that's the Tesla plant. They don't build Toyotas there anymore. They build Teslas. Yeah, Elon bought it, or Tesla bought it, and now it builds Teslas. But anyway, back in the 80s, Toyota and General Motors had a joint venture called Numi. Don't ask me what it stands for. Nummi. You could Google it. But one of the cars they built there was the Corolla, and specifically this Corolla Hatch FX16. And 1988 was the last model year. Like I said, only 2 model years. And powered by a 1.6 Dock 4-cylinder, 108 horsepower, 5-speed manual, 4-speed automatic. Yeah, for 1988, not bad, but it had a fun driving character. I was reading an old Car and Drive article, and they were raving about how fun this car was. It was in the 80s, okay?
It looks like a light car.
Yeah, you could fling it around. Yeah. Front-wheel drive only, as all Corollas were. Corollas.
Later in the 80s, they switched to front-wheel drive.
They were front-wheel only, and that's what this was. So fast forward to 2025, and in my inbox this morning, Toyota is bringing back the FX. It's called the Corolla Hatchback FX. And it's a 2026 model. You can see it here. There's some photos from you see the original kind of hiding in the back there. The one from the 80s. There they are, 2-shot there. This is a 2026 model, and it'll go on sale this fall. Not a spicy boy like our GR Corolla. It's got the Dynamic Force 2-liter, 4-cylinder, 169 horsepower, 151 pounds-feet, CVT only.
All-wheel drive?
Front-wheel drive.
Okay.
But it's got the white wheels. So the white wheels you see there are standard, 18-inch, available in 3 colors. And those 3 colors are, just wait for it as I scroll down the press release here, Inferno, right there, Ice Cap, white, I assume. Okay. I think it's white. And Blue Crush Metallic, which they use for other Corollas.
The generic.
Yeah. That's for the U.S., 1,600 units, so it's a limited production. You can see, like, it has by the way, it has the roof spoiler. There's the seats with some leather and suede, some orange stitching, which goes in the door panels and into the steering wheel there. It's a Corolla in every other respect, right?
Generic Corolla.
Yeah.
With a few upgrades.
But the seats are sports seats, standard. You get the wheels. You get at the rear. There's a badge that's kind of pays homage to the FX16, similar badge treatment. So that's for the U.S. For Canada, we get white only, 150 units for Canada.
Wow.
Yeah, so 3 colors in America, red, white, and blue. For Canada, white only.
Wow, I didn't even take that in until you mentioned that. Wow, that's so funny.
I was thinking about that when I was writing the story. I'm like, red, white, and blue. There you go. And it has like wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, as a charge pad. It has a 7-inch configurable digital cluster, which the other Corollas have, and it has the 8-inch multimedia touchscreen. So it has the stuff that you get with a regular Corolla. It's based on the SE. So folks out there want to know what this car is based on. They take the SE and they put on some special, some extra kit.
Yeah, I think this is pretty much them like taking Scion like a Scion route.
It has a Scion kind of vibe, doesn't it?
It does.
A little
like,
bit.
You can tell that they're aiming towards like a younger demographic.
Right.
By just throwing out like these popping colors and interior stitching and just making it. I mean, it's a good looking car.
Yeah, I mean the big thing is the black vented sport wing at the rear for improved aero. The gloss 18-inch white wheels are like sneakers. They look like a nice pair of kicks, right?
I've never seen any other OEM
look at that
car come with white wheels
right?
from factory.
Because one of the first things that when I was looking at the photos this morning, this press release Toyota announced this morning. Yeah, I was checking my email before I came into the office, and here we are. Fresh.
It's giving me a lot of Mazda 3 vibes from the side. Mazda 3 hatchback.
But I like the white wheels with red, like with a contrast color.
It does.
You see in the 80s one parked next to it there. It has the white wheels as well, white on white.
See, with the white wheels, it's kind of giving me like a rally look, and the fact that it's not all-wheel drive and it's just front-wheel drive is kind of throwing me off a little bit. Like I expect this to be like a Fiesta or a Ford Focus RS or something, like somewhere in that realm. But I guess that's what the GR Corolla is.
Well, it did crush my soul a little bit to discover that even though this car has some sporty pretensions, there is no manual transmission. It's CVT only.
Wow.
Because the only Corolla with the manual transmission is the GR. Yeah, yeah, which also has an automatic, as we learned. Yeah. But if you want anything that's not a GR, it's CVT only, because Toyota, I remember when I asked about this, when they switched away from manual transmissions in the non-GRs, I was told that it's just a sales thing. They just don't sell. And they sell for the GR, but not for the non-GR.
If you're buying a performance car, you know what you're getting.
Yeah. That's one thing intenders will have to accept. If you're interested in this car, it looks really sharp, like a fresh pair of sneakers, but there's no manual transmission, unlike the old FX16, which had a manual. Yeah. But some nice detailing, some nice treatment. The white on white that we get for Canada looks. I think I may have. There's photos available online. It looks pretty striking to see all the white.
All the white.
It's like a pair of sneakers, like a pair of Adidas.
It's like refreshing. You don't see car companies like do. I wouldn't really say it's out wild or outlandish, but it kind of is. You're going against a grain. You're going against a norm.
I encourage our audience to Google this on their Google machine, and that sounds like such an old man saying that. Go on the internet and find the white on white for Canada. If you happen to be in Canada too, some of our audience may be in Canada. The white on white is pretty. Yeah, it's pretty. Like the U.S., I got these from the U.S. press site, and they're all red and white. It looks pretty sharp, but the white on white also looks pretty.
I could see white on white. Yeah. Generally, when people modify their cars and do like a whole white theme, it turns out really nice.
And it has a darker interior, right? So it has like a black interior. They all have black interiors.
Oh, okay.
With the suede and the orange stitching and what have you. But so you do get some contrast. Like it's not white on white on white. That'd be a little bit too much white.
Yeah.
The white wheels. Like you said, not a rare choice for OEMs. Like stock fitment.
The stock fitment,
rare,
from
super
the factory.
Rare.
I can't think of a single company.
Yeah, right. When I was looking at the photos, I thought, who else does this?
Like black,
recently,
silver. That's pretty much it, right?
Yeah. So, like I said, this no pricing yet. It'll be sold as a package. So you pick the SE and then you add this as a package on top. You have the 3 colors for the US, white for Canada. And again, limited production, 1,600 units for the U.S. and 150 for Canada. But, if you want a car that's a little bit, has some heritage to the old FX16, sporty with the roof spoiler, the white wheels, some nice trim detailing. I mean, we'll see where the pricing comes in. I haven't released pricing yet, but so this fall it'll be in your dealer.
It would have to be significantly cheaper than the GR Corolla for me to even... I don't know, consider it.
But I think it looks pretty sharp. You got the nice black grille. The black grille with the white wheels looks pretty.
See, it's
pretty
difficult
sharp,
because it looks like the current gen Corolla,
and
it looks like, and then the current gen Corolla looks like the last gen Corolla.
And as we've discussed on this podcast, with regard to the GR, there's a GR development vehicle which we've talked about.
Yes, November.
So the current Corolla line is probably due to be replaced soon.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, because if they're working on a GR, then there's a new non-GR Corolla as well.
Exactly.
That's coming.
Yeah.
So, That's a good point. So our audience may want to keep that in mind. Let's see where the pricing comes in. But if you're not the person who wants to spend or is able to spend the GRs out of your price bracket, and and this isn't going to have the same kind of power. It's a normally aspirated 4-cylinder. There's no manual, unfortunately. So, but if you're okay with that and you want something that's a little more, at least has a bit of a sportier look,
a little bit of character
than your base Corolla.
Yeah.
And it's based on the SE, so there's some standard. Like I ran through some of the kit that comes with, like, see how it goes. But I thought for our Toyota folks who are looking for more fresh Toyota product, this was just announced today. So
I think I might have to trade in my Corolla.
Stay tuned.
Corolla.
Yeah, we'll have to see how the Corolla changes with the coming. Like you said, there is like this one's been around since 2019. So you figure that it's getting to the point. It's getting to the end of the line.
Yeah,
soon.
And I want to change.
We'll see how it looks. See how much the design changes too, along with performance and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Do you think the Corolla is ever going to go back to a sedan?
Oh, they still have the sedan.
But I feel like I only ever see.
Oh, you only ever see hatchbacks?
Yeah.
That's a GR Corolla bias there for you.
I know. Yeah.
No, the sedan is still around. Yeah. All right. You're getting the gears from our production team a little bit there. Rightly so.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's a sedan. There's right now you have gas and gas hybrid. You have the GR, which is, as we've speculated, the GR could become electrified. Right now it's gas only. I think the one that they're working on that we might see at the Tokyo Motor Show in October, if they decide to show it to us, could have some electrification. It could be like not a plug-in, but maybe a electric motor, maybe a little hybrid, like a battery pack to help.
I could see them
cold starting and with extra power. Because that's the thing, right? Everything is being electrified. We talked about this with the supercars last week, right? With Honda and Nissan maybe working together.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. And
could be electrifying. Yep.
Understanding that all these supercars now are going to be hybrid platforms going forward for the most part.
So and you have a hatch and a sedan.
Yeah.
Now you have no manual unless you get the GR. So it's CVT pretty much across the board for the sedan and for the hatchback.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So I think the sedan will continue, and the hatch. Obviously, the GR. It looks like we're gonna get a new GR.
Yeah.
And we'll see where it goes.
Big news. But
what do you think of that, though, man? Do you think that might be interesting to people that aren't going to spend the extra coin on the GR?
As much as I love Toyota, I think they're throwing out way too many special editions. And for something,
it's like the 86, right?
It's like the 86,
the 800th special edition with 86.
I mean, you can't like get mad at them for it as well, because at least they're doing something.
Yes.
Yes. But it's like another limited edition, another one, and it's like, oh yeah, you only get 150 of them. It's kind of doing like the whole collecting craze and see if you can get.
Gotta catch them all, right? I mean, yeah, like the Hakone edition we just had with 86 for 2025, the green with the gold wheels, very sharp.
Yeah,
and we get the Yuzu next year, which is yellow.
Yeah,
like canary yellow.
It's pretty much just OEM options with a different paint job.
It's like all the different colors of the rainbow, right? It's like all the Skittles colors. Next year, we had an orange one a couple years ago.
Yeah,
I forget the name of that one. It was orange.
It was orange.
It was orange. So
it was probably the same. So let's get into something more performance oriented.
Well,
this Corolla is putting me to sleep.
Just say that if you're thinking that the FX edition Corolla hatch is more of a cosmetic and not a real under the skin performance monster. In other words, it's all show and not much go. This car is like all go as in rocket speed. Okay. We're talking, of course, about the Ford Mustang GTD, which stands for GT Daytona, which is a nod to their racing heritage.
Wow.
Mustangs have raced at Daytona for years in various forms. So Ford took the GTD, which was first shown about 2 years ago. They took it to the Nürburgring Nordschleife, where you can. That's the track that it's on there, and they set a lap time just to benchmark where the car was. It was early production. It was August of 2024, so almost a year ago, and they dropped a time that was really, really, really good. However, they thought
insanely competitive.
They basically said there's more in the car. There's more in the car that we haven't wrung all the performance out of it yet. So our production team is showing the lap at the Nürburgring. The driver there is a German named Dirk Mueller. Dirk Mueller is a legit sports car hot shoe racer. I used to, in another life, I used to work at a racetrack, and this guy was racing there when I worked there.
Wow. That's a cool experience.
In the American Le Mans series about 17, 18 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been around. So he's a German, so he obviously knows knows the track. Anyway, so he's the guy behind the wheel there for Ford. And in 2024, the lap they set was really impressive. I mean, it was under 7 minutes. And when you're under 7 minutes, you're fast.
There's only a few cars that you're going up against.
It's a 12.9 mile lap, so it's long as F. Mm-hmm. Okay? I'm not going to swear, but as long as F. You know what F means. And so, I earned that one. So, in 2024, first time they went with the early production version of the car, 6 minutes, 57.685. Okay? Wow. Which was incredibly fast at the time. So they thought, we can do better than that. And so in February of this year, they went back and they had made, I'll go through the changes in a minute, but here's the lap they put down in February, so just a few months ago. 6 minutes, 52 seconds, 0.072. 5 seconds faster. Which is, okay.
Yeah.
Folks, in racing, a tenth of a second is a gap. A half a second, a 5/10 is, forget it, right?
Yeah.
In a race. If you're talking 5 seconds, think about how far away you've left the competition. Like, they can't even see you when you're crossing the finish line. You're so far ahead. Yeah. Okay? 5 seconds is like an eternity. Okay? They said that the 5 second margin accounts to about 800 feet. It finished 800 feet ahead of the car in August of 2024. 800 feet is not nothing. That's a lot. Okay? That's,
Yeah, you talk to any drag racer, and you tell
800 feet is a lot.
5 seconds faster? Oh, my God.
Yeah. So what did they do? You might ask yourself, our audience, me, you, us, what did they do? Oh, boy. They did a lot of stuff to the car. So I included some photos of the large crew of Ford Performance mechanics and engineers who went to Germany, who were wrenching on the car. You can see that nothing was overlooked. They just went through everything and said, there's more in this car. And you see the special Nürburgring track logo there on the back.
That's so cool.
They're timing with they use other timing, but I thought that was cool. I grabbed that photo.
Yeah.
Stopwatch. So what did they do? Well, they
just take out the back seats,
refined the powertrain, refinements. They wouldn't go into too much detail, but that's what they said in the statement that I pulled. Mm-hmm. Recalibrated the powertrain, chassis tweaking. So they made some chassis tuning changes, made it more rigid. The body structure in a car like this is like riding, it'd be like riding a shopping cart. It's got a very firm ride, as you'd expect, but they made the car more rigid, and rigid is faster. They refined the aero. It has a large wing on the back. It's a carbon fiber wing. They reconfigured the traction control and the ABS. That's what they said in the press release that they pushed out commemorating this record. So where does this rank? Because I know people who follow Nürburgring and cars that do lap times at the Nürburgring.
Yeah.
This is the is the fastest American production car at the Nürburgring ever.
Yeah.
And the 4th fastest production car overall. Production. Because this isn't a race car. I mean, it looks like a race car, but it's a street car. This is a street car. That's part of the reason they released this information, just for context. The car goes on sale in very low quantities right around now, this spring of 2025. So the first units will be going to customers in the coming weeks. So that's why they're kind of pushing this out now, to let customers know, hey, not that you're ever going to go to the Nürburgring, but it's fast. It's 5 seconds faster.
Wow. Honestly, you could have 10 years ago today, you could have looked at a Mustang and told someone that, hey, in 10 years, this is going to be one of the best performance cars you could buy. You would look at them and laugh.
Yeah.
And it's insane to see the Mustang come out so far out of left field that it's just, now it's a huge contender, a very a supercar killer essentially.
Yeah. Oh, I know. You're absolutely right. I mean, I was at the Detroit Auto Show in 2023 when they had it behind glass, rotating on a platform. We take photos of it. We couldn't touch it. Obviously, you couldn't. It was locked and guarded, even from us media. But they were telling us about how it has a 8-speed dual clutch transaxle rear mounted transmission, the carbon fiber wing, 50-50 weight distribution, torque and horsepower, guys, for our audience, 815 horsepower. These are numbers from Ford, 664 pounds-feet of torque, and a top speed of 202 miles per hour. So, wow, it is legit. It uses the 5.2-liter flat-plane crank V8 that was used in the Shelby, if you're familiar with the Shelby GT350 from previous generation, and the GT500.
Oh, okay. So same
supercharged,
motor,
supercharged, of course.
Tuned.
Yep,
okay.
yep. And so that we're looking at the sizzle reel. This is on they put this on their YouTube channel as well. So it uses a drag reduction system. Our editor Adam Gordon, past mag, in his other life, works for a company that makes some of the parts for this car.
That's I know. That's wicked.
Yeah.
I do like the way the rear wing is mounted. It's not on the trunk itself, but like the
C-pillar.
Yeah, that's
C-pillar.
Cool.
Structural rigidity, because the car does create a lot of downforce, and downforce is just for our audience that may not know what downforce is. I'm sure many of you do, but if you don't, it's just when the car is at speed on track, it's the wind, the air pushing down on the rear of the car, so it gets more traction.
Yeah.
So it's pushing the wing helps to create that downforce to keep the car more stuck to the track.
Yeah.
So it can go 5 seconds faster. I mean, among other reasons, that's what it's there for. But yeah, it's Jim Farley, who's the CEO of Ford in Detroit, said that they wanted to build a race car that you could drive on the street, rather than we're going to build a road car that you can track. No, we're going to do it in reverse. We're going to build a race car that you can legally drive on the street. And that's what this car is.
And I feel like there's only a few companies that have done that. Like I think Ferrari had one of them, and I think that's pretty cool. I mean, there's only a few people that will ever be able to experience this realistically.
Well, you may remember the GT, the Ford GT, which was built from, I think, 2016 to 2022-ish. The contract manufacturer, not to wave the flag too much here, folks, but Multimatic, based in Markham, Ontario, just north of where we are here in Toronto, assembled the GT. They are assembling this car as well, and they provide a lot of the engineering and the manufacturing know-how. They've been a Ford partner for years. They build suspension components. Oh, and I've just been told by our production team that Yusuf is, our own Yusuf is an intern.
Oh.
Because Yusuf's an engineering student. Or was, pardon me.
Yeah.
There we go. Thanks, production staff. Extra info. Appreciate it. So... that gets at least a golf clap. But yeah, the car is just wild. I mean, by the way, if our I'm sure some in our audience may wonder, okay, how much? Well,
more than we can afford.
The pricing I got from Ford for the U.S., this is U.S. dollars, base MSRP is $325,000. They're only going to build 1,000 of them, roughly. The GT was like that too. The Ford GT, they only built just over 1,000 of them,
and then only 10 get sent to Canada.
And oh boy,
if that,
fewer than 100, man. I think they'll be in the dozens for Canada, and the rest will go to the U.S. And you have to qualify. You go through this application process. They don't just want you to. They don't want people flipping them.
Oh, is it like Porsche? They need you to own at least 5 GTs before you get a GTD.
Or you have to own it for a certain length of time.
Okay, yeah.
And you can't flip it. You can't put it on eBay.
You need an F-150 in the driveway, or you can't buy this.
Well, it was partly that. I mean, it's not that people that are raising their hands don't have the money. That money isn't the issue. They know that people who are legit purchasers
it's just
have
putting
the money.
The car into the right hands of the right enthusiast.
Correct. And they're going to do the same thing with this car from what I've been reading. So when those first units dribble out, they will go to some very select people.
Yeah, because I was speaking with them at the auto show, and they were very particular in saying that we want to choose who gets this car. We don't want someone in Cali with a giant warehouse that's just going to buy it to store it. They essentially want people to track this car.
Are you speaking about anyone in particular
No.
with that reference, Harjaan? I can think of somebody. I won't mention him. But I know what you're saying. Yeah, they don't just want to be like on display.
Yeah. They want it like it's a track-oriented car.
Yep.
They want to see it on the track.
I mean, when you're thrashing at the Nürburgring and you're shaving 5 seconds off the previous lap time. I mean,
Impressive.
it's kind of like, okay, man, you got to at least track this car. You got to do some lapping days at
Take
least.
it out once.
Yeah, at your local track. You don't have to go to the Nürburgring, but you can go to your track and do some lapping, you know? So that really caught my eye when I saw that they had shot. Because this press release came last week, and I didn't really notice it until I was getting ready for this week's show. And I thought, oh, what's this? Oh, it went a little bit faster. 5 seconds faster. Shit.
Yeah, usually you'll see like when they
Whoa.
do like
That's something,
like
you know?
late model years, or they'll do like a refresh. Sometimes they'll take it back to the Nürburgring, maybe like shave like a second, or
Right.
like
Yeah.
maybe half a second.
Right.
This is
No, this is and the photography here is just beautiful. They had obviously a photo video team with them there. They're wrenching on the car there to make it make some adjustments. But yeah, so this is a car that you can own if you meet all of Ford's requirements. You go through the special list of you check all the boxes,
yeah.
right? But it'll be like the GT in terms of rareness. It'll be very rare, and so, but a legit track weapon. You know, I mean, it's rare for. I mean, the German brands tend to dominate the Nürburgring. It's rare to see someone like Ford.
They get the most practice.
Chevy used to send the old Camaro ZL1 to the Nürburgring back when they used to make Camaros.
Yeah.
And pour one out for the Camaro.
Autobots.
But just they're the only other ones. Just Ford and Chevy and Ford, and that was it. But Ford's the only ones making muscle cars anymore, and no one else does.
Yeah.
You know, so
that's very true.
I mean, I guess the Charger is kind of a,
Kinda.
but it's an EV now.
Barely, yeah.
It's an EV now.
The Hellcat was the closest thing.
It was. So we just thought we'd bring that to you because it's a cool story and it's a super rare car, and it's, you know, it's a performance car that for once it's not going away. It's not been canceled. It's not going to be an EV.
Exactly.
It's a gas powered muscle car that exists, and like rare numbers. 1,000 isn't many, but it's out there. You might see one, maybe.
Yeah.
But you might want to get your camera, have your phone handy if you do see one, because that may be the only time you see it.
You might have a second before it passes you.
You might. A traffic light, or it zooms past you.
Yeah.
So,
man, what a crazy episode. We've had 2 performance vehicles on both sides of the spectrum.
Yes.
One is
cosmetic, kind of.
all cosmetic, and one is all performance.
This is all go. So that's our show for this week, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please let us know what you think, not only of these cars, but other cars you want to see us cover and talk about here on Factory Fresh. We're open to suggestions, so hit us up on socials, drop some comments in the comment box on YouTube, and let us know what you think. And we will be back in your feeds next week on YouTube.
Maybe
for another
some more Toyota talk.
Could be for another. It could be Harjaan. But catch us back next week for another episode of Factory Fresh.
See you guys.
I do like the